Aditya Digital Network presents the longest running episodic talk show in India in association with the Dusra.net, India's number one and only sports, education, and entertainment. Unlimited voice calls, unlimited data, which were the basis of what made Indian telecom companies so popular, might just reverse this trend. As government pressure who want their taxes paid as well as monopoly of a few companies force the telecom companies to go on the offensive. And what is the best way to recover your losses? Increase tariffs. There is this unclaimed theory that we as Indians use our phones to watch videos and therefore we need data. And to exploit this, the telecom companies use this very nature of Indians' propensity to use their phones for videos and movies and give us all kinds of data tariffs. And now, looking at their own losses, they have decided to increase the tariffs. And we were, anyways, not using text messages as a source of communication. So, it is possible that the pseudo messaging services, that is WhatsApp, might just become active again when it comes to making voice calls. It's even possible that with this effect, with this price increase, tariff increase, landlines might just become popular again. Due to this tariff increase, will individuals reduce the number of hours they watch the video on their phone because of more consumption and expensive tariffs? It is quite difficult to answer this question as there is no basis for saying that smartphones are now in vogue because people want to watch videos, as one feels convenienced watching videos on the phone even if it affects our body posture in a negative manner. This tariff increase is not going to be an isolated incident. It's going to impact each and every sector, irrespective of it being public or private. With the increase in tariff, especially prepaid tariffs, one might see individuals asking their employees for increase in salaries. It is a possibility. Or we might see individuals with this increase reduce consumption in other sectors. It can also happen that looking at this tariff increase, other sectors might jump on the bandwagon and use this tariff rise and justify this by using the term increasing costs. While landlines and WhatsApp calls and messages is an option for customers, it is also possible that number portability may come into effect. Customers will try to shift to the company which gives the lowest increased tariff among all the three companies. And with the telecom regulator making this number portability easy and taking the decision out of the hands of the respective telecom companies, a number portability effect is also on the cards. Despite all these options, this tariff increase will affect students the most, as students in colleges and schools use prepaid numbers while people who work often shift to postpaid numbers. Another possibility of this impact is the re emergence of the public sector telecom companies like BSNL and MTNL, who were struggling in their own right, but looking at this price rise of other companies might want to revive their services by giving even cheaper rates and better voice and mobile data. This tariff rise is not going to be straightforward, and long term impact of the same are expected to see in other sectors. Individuals might stop consumption, they might not use other services such as cable TV. It's what one calls in economy perfect competition. One might see a group of friends shift to the same network so as to dodge and evade the IUC, that is the interconnect usage charge. That is when you make a call to other networks, it is a cost paid by one mobile operator to another, and this is what which will also be affected and increased. One knows that WhatsApp calling as an alternative calling source is free, but it only works when one has good internet connection, when you have the appropriate data, and if you are in a region where you have 2G instead of 4G connection, your call may not go through. So WhatsApp as an alternative to calls may not work all the time. In India, calling from one network to another has always been complicated, and now it complicates further with customers getting limited minutes under fair usage policy when calling to customers of other networks, but voice calls will remain free when customers call someone on their own network. Though one has to understand that when we call a number, we are calling the person. We are hardly affected by whether we call from an Airtel to a Vodafone or an Airtel to a Jio or vice versa. Customers do not have neither the time nor the patience nor to understand such specific technicalities about whether we are calling the same network or we are calling another network. Such detailed nuances only affect either the telecom regulator or the specific companies. Though we try to maintain that India still remains the cheapest telecom tariff market in the world, the MNP, the mobile number portability, might just become the next big thing, and with the new rules and the ease of portability might see customers shifting to those telecom operators who provide the cheapest tariffs amongst all the three operators who have increased their tariffs respectively. Now let's understand this MNP. The request for port out from one circle to another will now be completed in 5 working days. Under the new process, the mobile number portability service provider has been tasked with generating and communicating the unique porting code to a subscriber instead of the telecom service provider. A UPC, that is the unique porting code, is an 8-digit alpha numeric code that a subscriber wanting to switch their operator needs to generate by sending a text to 191900. This tariff increase by telecoms will not be an isolated incident. It won't be a surprise if customers start using this new mobile number portability rules the moment they come into effect. Demands of increase in salary by the working class and increase in pocket money by students will be the first effect of this new tariff rule. This unofficial trend of watching videos on the phones will also come to an end, and this might give an excuse for landlines and PCOs, STDs, ISD phone booths to become active and popular once again. The only winner in this case are the respective telecom companies but not their customers. It's what one calls the butterfly effect. What amuses me the most is that how we as Indians have concocted this theory that the number of smartphone users and watching videos on mobile is directly proportional to an emerging economy. This theory is not only flawed but has been conceived because of this mindset that increase in mobile subscriptions and use of mobile data is directly proportional to an emerging economy. This hypothesis, which is slowly turning into a theory, has no base and no logic. The irony in this whole situation is that while we are excited and buoyant about the increase in number of mobile subscriptions around the world, especially India, as well as the number of people using smartphones to gather data or use the internet. On the other hand, we are also into the extremities by saying that use of electronic devices makes us lazy. We do not go out, we do not have people to people conversations. There is a very thin line between what is good and bad as far as the use of electronic devices as well as digital networking is concerned. This mobile tariff increase might be a boon for parents around the country. Using the excuse of coaching centers, students have often got the mobile phones at a very young age, especially between classes 9 to 12, when at that time they should be more focused on face to face networking. One might see parents preferring home tuitions and not sending students to tuition and not giving them mobile phones till the time they graduate school and enter college. This one small mobile tariff increase because of the excuse provided by the telecom providers that they were suffering losses and they had to pay huge taxes to the government might just change the very nature of the economy and our daily consumption habits. It will also become a possibility that the pocket money provided by parents to students might just be enough for the students to get their mobiles recharged and not for any other extravagant consumption. Yet the possibilities of the effect of this mobile tariff increase are endless. And the next couple of years, in terms of competition between the various mobile providers, will also intensify with each passing day. Over the last 7 decades, have we ever tried to analyze and introspect as to why individuals go to college? Is it all about getting degrees? Is it about becoming a better individual? Is it about learning new things which one may not learn in 12 years of schooling? Is it about acquiring the brand name and being associated with that particular institution or college and also getting the benefits from such association? Or is it about this fictional word called campus placement? One of the ways to judge a college whether a college is popular, if big multinational companies come to the campus, interview potential recruit and use this as a base to get more and more students from that particular college. But we need to understand that one's skill and understanding of the subject cannot be affected by the institution we attend over a period of 4 years. It's all our hard work. If campus placements are being labeled as stressful, then do we need to have campus placements? Do institutions need to force students to join a company so that these very institutions can write on their website that over a lakh students were placed and the average salary was 1 lakh per year, using this as a way to attract more students? If the main focus behind spending 4 years in an institution and learning and adapting to new things is eventually getting a job, then those 4 or 5 years are a waste. Campus placements can often be misleading. It is irrelevant if you're from IIT, IIM, or any other prestigious institution, because when the time comes for that particular company to test your skills, you are on your own. Your college can only help you in bringing the companies to the college, but the eventuality of getting a lucrative job or not is on the individual's interpersonal skills. While technical know-how of the subject will help, but your soft skills will take the chunk of the pie. In any interview, it is never about your technical knowledge. It is about how an individual conducts himself or herself in front of the interviewers. The interviewers are not looking for specific knowledge, they are looking at the person as a whole. After a while, even the resume, the CV becomes irrelevant. One may have earned a degree by completing various projects and getting through multiple exams and getting the required marks. Yet, in the interview, your mark sheet, though is important, eventually becomes a part of the garbage can. But one should not worry, because acing an interview cannot be the final agenda of a student. In whichever field you are, salaries and packages are irrelevant. Accepting or rejecting an offer cannot put a student on the back foot. There is often a thin line between one's qualifications, one's knowledge, and the soft skill one possesses. Campus placements are just to ease the process of students running around looking for companies off campus. Because as far as your institution is concerned, there will always be a skepticism associated with hiring you, and one will understand that the projects done in college has no meaning in the actual industry. Just like as we progress from school to college, in school we are protected in certain manners, in college we are also protected from the actual realities of life, and when we eventually land up a job, we understand that it's your knowledge, your understanding, and your acumen that gets you far, not your institution, nor the degree, nor the various mark sheets, nor the projects you have made. Mark sheets eventually become a part of the garbage can. In schools and colleges, we are shielded by the theoretical exams and the practical exams, where getting marks is the only criteria. Whereas when you move out of these two institutions who have protected you for a better part of 18 years, then we realize that we are back to square one. Our institution and our association with that institution ends once we graduate. Because if an individual, for example, graduates from IIT despite its reputation and they get a job as a junior analyst, they may learn that whatever they have learned in terms of software as well as soft skills, knowledge may just be sent to a garbage can, because this particular company uses some other software, and a college at best can only teach you one or two software. So we have to learn on our own. And why the company uses a software different from the software taught in college? Because the founder of that company only knows about that particular software, so they use that software in the entire company. And if individuals feel that when they graduate from IITs, IIMs, that they will immediately get a cushy job, that is a flawed theory. The packages announced by the companies and the packages actually given are two different sides of the coin. Even this theory of getting a job after college has no base. It's better if we can start our own company. It is often best to target companies which are new, which are startups, because the influence one has over these companies will be more than over those which have existed for decades and they have a set and rigid management system, and they are not willing to change just because a newbie is giving them ideas. This thing can work in any field. It's often possible that working in a new company, which are called startups now, may not give you the desired salary, but the exposure and the influence you will have on the working of that company may be much higher. And the individuals running this new company or semi startup may give you more respect than the ones of the company which has been running for decades. But campus placements cannot become and should not become the criteria for joining a college. It was a year ago when India won the Junior World Cup, or as it is fondly called, the Under 19 World Cup in cricket. It wasn't until 2000 that one's attention towards the Junior World Cup became more focused after India won the first Junior World Cup in 2000. Yuvraj Singh, Mohammad Kaif were individuals picked up directly from that team. And Virat Kohli is the last captain who has become a regular feature in the team ever since captaining the 2008 Junior World Cup team and winning it. While someone like Unmukt Chand, who won the 2012 Junior World Cup, never got a chance in the team, and Prithvi Shaw and Shubman Gill, who were a part of the 2018 Junior World Cup, are still struggling to make themselves regular members of the team as they hover outside the team's periphery like satellites. But the question will emerge that if India do manage to win their fifth Junior World Cup title, will these players be fast-tracked into the Indian 20 over domestic tournament? And how being fast-tracked and being paid lots of money at such a young age have an impact on their actual future playing for the national team? It's a thin line between these two things. Our attention towards the Junior World Cup has only increased because we have won titles before, and also because we have had a few under 19 and junior players playing for the team, though the only individuals who have been successful as of date are Yuvraj, Mohammad Kaif, Virat Kohli, up to some extent Shubman Gill and Prithvi Shaw, as well as Suresh Raina, Rohit Sharma, and Shikhar Dhawan, who was part of the 2004 World Cup team. But winning a Junior World Cup and a Senior World Cup often become two different things, as one debates on the quality of the teams, the quality of the bowling, the quality of the ground, and those unnecessary external factors, and whether now they should be fast tracked into the team like once upon a time Yuvraj Singh, Mohammad Kaif, Suresh Raina, Virat Kohli, and Prithvi Shaw, as well as Shubman Gill, were fast tracked? Or should they go through the grind of playing various domestic tournaments before getting into the national senior team? Irrespective of whether we win the next Junior Cricket World Cup, if the players perform well, they should be given a chance into the Indian team. Though we know that the first person to get a chance would be the captain himself. Examples being Mohammad Kaif, Shikhar Dhawan, Suresh Raina, Virat Kohli, and Prithvi Shaw. It even makes it more emotional if the players from the team are from small towns and not major cities like Bombay, Delhi, and Chennai. The small town story might force us to respect them more. Virat Kohli, Yuvraj Singh were unknown quantities before they performed well in the Junior World Cup compared to Prithvi Shaw, who had already garnered fame through his exploits in the various domestic tournaments. While Unmukt Chand, the captain of the 2012 Junior World Cup winning team, fell out of favor because he couldn't continue his performances in the various domestic tournaments and the 20 over Premier Domestic Tournament. Unlike the Junior World Cup in hockey, which is important for players to be fast tracked into the national team, the one in cricket might lose its sheen over the years because of the multiple tournaments that happen and the influence an under 19 player already has even before they start the World Cup, and the praise they receive from various quarters like their coaches or former players and their mind is focused towards a potential contract in the 20 over domestic tournament. And we often criticize this pull towards making quick money before you have even established yourself, and therefore falling prey to match fixing and other evils associated with the sport. Either the Indian Cricket Board makes a rule that the under 19 World Cup players, the junior World Cup players, the 16, 17, 18-year olds should not play in the 20 over domestic tournament before they turn a certain age. And even if they are selected by the teams, they are shielded by this sheer want for money by their guardians. Because you cannot fault these young individuals who are emerging talents in the sport if they fall prey to such evils or habits, if the board and other bodies cannot have laws shielding them. This is where the coach and the mentor has to play an important role. Messi receives his sixth men's Ballon d'Or. This can be seen in two ways. While we are all obsessed about Ronaldo and Messi, we do not give the same respect to other footballers who may be more talented than these two individuals. Or the fact that it's just easy to give such awards to Messi or Ronaldo to avoid any kind of controversy and make this process rigid at the same time. While Messi does deserve his Ballon d'Or award, are we joking of the fact that there is nobody else who is better than him, or we are so hesitant to give it to some other individual because of the fanatic fan following towards this individual? By either restricting these awards to Messi or Ronaldo, what we are doing is we are setting a trend that there are no other football players. The future generations will know only Messi or Ronaldo. You ask anybody who is a football fan, who is your favorite player? Messi. Who is your favorite player? Ronaldo. It's an insult to the efforts of other footballers. Yes, such awards are meaningless, but because such awards have to be given, then it should be distributed equally. By constantly setting the plate in favor of one or two players, the value of football one day might drop. I can give you another example which will make my listeners understand this better. Imagine if the cricketer of the year is given to Kohli, Smith, Williamson, and Root alternatively. In cricket, we might just protest that there are players beyond Smith, Kohli, Root, Williamson, and others. But in a sport like football, where your club or your domestic team values more than the national team, Messi and Ronaldo will always take the chunk of the pie till the time they retire. But just as we are obsessed with Nadal, Djokovic, Murray, and Federer in tennis, we might not get over Messi and Ronaldo. The same way we haven't got over the likes of Pele and Maradona. And what is common between all these players? They are either from European countries or the Latin American countries. In my viewpoint, someone like a Sunil Chhetri also deserves this award in the same way Messi has worked hard to deserve this award. Why not give it to an Indian player? Why not give it to someone apart from Messi and Ronaldo? While they deserve it, there are other footballers who are working extremely hard, and just because they don't have 700 goals in their kitty, it doesn't make them any lesser than Messi and Ronaldo. The same way, just because other tennis players do not have grand slams after grand slams in their kitty, it doesn't make them any lesser than Andy Murray, Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, or Rafael Nadal. Even in women's tennis, we are still obsessed with the likes of William sisters or the retired ones in Steffi Graf and others. Till we change this outdated and archaic mindset of not moving on from older players or people who are on the verge of retirement, our hesitancy to give respect to the newer band of players who might play the same duration as the likes of Messi, Ronaldo, and the others will never emerge. Why do we not give the same respect to Mahesh Bhupati and Leander Pace? These two are legendary, iconic tennis players, may not have the Grand Slams in their kitty, but they have been playing for the past 3 decades. And if the longevity cannot be respected, then what else should be respected? So we need to change this mindset and move beyond this group of players about whom we are fanatical beyond a certain point.